This is section 1.03 of the Unit 1 Notes, Taxes and Deductions. Today I am, as in you are the student, finding different types of deductions from a paycheck so that I can determine gross pay and take-home pay and calculate if taxes are owed or will be refunded. I will know I have it when I can solve problems involving personal income taxes. Specific TEKS we're looking at for today's lesson is 2A. Use rates and linear functions to solve problems involving personal finance and budgeting, including compensations and deductions. And 2B. Solve problems involving personal taxes. Taxes and deductions from your paycheck. Taxes allow for projects and services like roads and infrastructure, emergency services, education, and national defense, just to name a few. Some taxes, like property taxes, fund local services such as schools, fire departments, and police. Deductions are the amount that you subtract from your income when you file, so you don't have to pay tax on it. So by lowering your income, deductions lower your tax. Deductions, so here's some example of some deductions here. We have an earnings statement and the following deductions like Medicare, Social Security, federal income tax, state income tax if your state has one, and I don't know what SDI is in this example, but could be insurance. All these deductions get taken out of your paycheck so that your tax will be less. Your tax burden will be less whenever you go and calculate them. Total compensation is what you are paid, including bonuses, including tips, includes commissions and all your sources of money from that employer. If you are employed through an employer or if you're self-employed, whatever, you have to include everything that you made through that company, through that employer, and that will be your total compensation. So total compensation in this particular example is $1,760. From our net pay, we add all our deductions, and then our gross pay is what we consider our total compensation. One of the problems that we're going to figure out how to solve is calculating hourly wage through our total compensation. So first, we're going to find the total compensation, and then from there, divide the amount of hours that we worked, and we will have our hourly wage from there. So in this example, again, finding the total compensation is taking our net pay and then adding up all our deductions. So in this example, net pay is $1,362.65, and then our total deductions is $397.35. Add those together, and our total compensation, according to this earnings statement, is $1,760. Now, from here, we know the amount of hours that we worked is 80. So to find our hourly wage, we simply divide the two. So again, $1,760 divided by 80 will be $22 per hour, which is our hourly wage. So this is how we find hourly wage. Let's go through another example without a earnings statement. Mark earned $532.67 in net pay for working 38 hours. He paid $93.74 in federal and state taxes and $42.13 in FICA taxes. What was Mark's hourly wage? So first thing we have to do is find the total compensation. Well, we know his net pay is $532.67. Now, he also had to pay $93.74 in federal and state taxes and $42.13 in FICA taxes. So these are the deductions that gave us the net pay right here. So how do we find the total compensation? We add everything there. $532.67 plus 93.74 plus 42.13. And we get $668.54. That is the total compensation. Now, to find Mark's hourly wage, we divide this by the amount of hours that were worked. So that number divided by 38. And round to 2 decimal places, the hourly wage should be $17.59. And that's how much Mark made per hour, given the net pay and the deductions. Okay, you try number 1. If you're following along on ClassKick while watching this video, go ahead and pause this video and try this problem on your own. Jason earned $389.23 in net pay for working 30 hours. He paid $76.41 in federal and state taxes and $29.67 in FICA taxes. What was Jason's hourly wage? So step 1, find the total compensation. Step 2, divide the total compensation by the total number of hours worked. If you're on ClassKick, you can move this box and check your work to see if you're doing all the steps correctly. But try not to do that until either you are completely done or you're stuck on one part of this problem. So again, pause the video, see if you can do this problem on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to continue on and show y'all how to do this. So Jason earned $389.23 in net pay. He had to pay $76.41 in federal and state taxes and $29.67 in FICA taxes. So to find the total compensation, it's $389.23 plus $76.41 plus $29.67. Taking out my calculator and then adding all of these together. And I got 495.31. That is the total compensation. So now, to figure out the hourly wage, I'm going to take my total compensation and then divide it by the amount of hours that Jason worked, which in this case is 30 hours. So this number divided by 30. Rounded to 2 decimal places should be $16.51 per hour. Let's move the box and make sure. And yes, we are correct. That's it for you. Try number 1. FICA. FICA. This is an acronym. It stands for Federal Insurance Contributions Act. FICA is the federal law requiring your employer to withhold Social Security tax and Medicare tax. So FICA is both Social Security and Medicare added together. Now the percentage amount of Social Security tax deducted is 6.2% of your gross pay. The amount of Medicare tax deducted is 1.45% of gross pay. So again, deductions equals gross pay times the percentage for that deduction in this scenario. Example 2. Amy's gross pay is $2,864. The amount of Social Security deducted is 6.2% of gross pay. How much of her gross pay will be deducted for the Social Security tax? So deductions is the gross pay times the percentage of that deduction. Well, the percentage is 6.2%. However, we can't use percentages in our calculations. We have to change them to decimal form. So we can either move that decimal point to the left twice and then fill in any zeros, and we get 0.062. Or you take that percentage, 6.2, divided by 100, you'll get the exact same number, 0.062. We're then going to multiply that with the gross pay to figure out how much Social Security will get deducted. So 0.062 times 2864. It's rounded to 2 decimal places, and $177.57, if we round it, will be deducted from her gross pay. Yeah, 57. And that's it. That's it for example 2. You try number 2. Brad's gross pay was $1,832. The amount of Social Security deducted is 6.2% of gross pay. How much of his gross pay will be deducted for Social Security tax? On Class Kick, please go ahead and pause this video. Try this problem on your own. Look behind the box and check your work. See if you did things correctly. So again, go ahead and give this a shot by pausing the video. Otherwise, I'm going to continue on and show y'all how to do this. So the gross pay is $1,832. I'm going to multiply with the decimal version of 6.2%, which I showed you in the previous problem. Now, take out our calculator and multiply those two. And round to 2 decimal places, the deductions are going to be 113.58. So 113.58. Let's check our answer, and looks like we are correct. And that's it for you try number 2. With Medicare, it'll be the same thing, except instead of 6.2%, you will be using 1.45%. So you would either divide that by 100 or move it to the left twice and do the exact same thing in terms of calculating how much Medicare tax will get taken out of your gross pay. Reminder about gross and net pay. Gross pay is the amount of money you earn before any taxes and deductions are taken out. Net pay is the amount of money you take home after all the deductions have been taken out. This is the money you receive on payday, sometimes called take-home pay. Take-home pay equals gross pay minus the deductions. Calculating the percent of take-home pay. Step 1, we're going to find the take-home pay. In whatever form it's presented to us, we're going to have to do the math to find the take-home pay. Now, the following example we're fixing to do, it's going to be the gross pay minus all the deductions. Step 2, we're going to divide the take-home pay by the gross pay and then change our decimal answer to a percent. So let's look at the example. Example number 3. Ron's gross pay is $5,025. His deductions were $1,547.36. What percent of his gross pay is take-home pay? First off, let's find out what his take-home pay will be. We know his gross pay is $5,025. We know his deductions total up to be $1,547.36. So to find his take-home pay, we subtract the two. So 5025 minus 1547.36 gives us a total of $3,477.64. Now our take-home pay, to find our percentage, what percent of his gross pay is take-home pay? To find our percentage, we're going to take this number and then divide it by the gross pay. So divide this by 5025. We get 0.692. Multiply this by 100 and change it into its percent form, and we get about 69%, 69.2%. So again, divide those two numbers, then change to its percent form, either moving the decimal place to the right twice or multiplying it by 100, and you get about 69% of his gross pay, or 60% of the gross is his net pay. That's what this means. Your net pay is 69% of your gross. That's it for example 3. You try number 3. Jan's gross pay is $12,569. Her deductions total $2,890.87. What percent of her gross pay is take-home pay? Step 1. Find the take-home pay. So follow along in ClassKick and answer these parts of the problem to get your take-home pay. Step 2. Divide the take-home pay by the gross pay. Again, follow along and then get your decimal answer. And then finally change it to its percent form, and that'll be your final answer. If you're following along in ClassKick, you can move these boxes to check your work and see if you're doing everything correctly. So at this moment, I would like for y'all to pause the video, try this problem on your own, see if you can figure it out. Otherwise, I'm going to continue on and show y'all how to do this. So Jan's gross pay is $12,569. Her deductions are $2890.87. Subtract the 2. And we have the take-home pay was $9,9678.13. Now that we have the take-home pay, we need to find what the percentage of take-home pay was from the gross pay. So we're going to take that value, 9678.13, and divide it by the gross pay, which was $12,569. Which turns out to be 0.77. Change your decimal answer to percentage by either moving the decimal point to the right twice or multiplying by 100. And we get 77%. 77% of his gross pay he gets to take home, or she gets to take home. And that's it for you try number 3. Here's the box to show you the answer. And that's that. W-2 form. When you have a job, you will receive your W-2 form by January 31st. This form gives you a summary of your total pay and deductions for the year. You will use this to help you fill out your income tax return form. So this is used to report to the IRS, to the federal government, and see if everything is good, or a few things, to see if everything is good, and to see if you still owe taxes based on your reported income, or if you are owed a refund based on whether you've overpaid your income tax obligation, your taxes obligations to the government. So you can either receive a refund or you may owe taxes based on what they say. Example 4, according to this partial W-2, what is the total compensation? This is simply just where do you look on the W-2 form to find your total compensation. Remember, total compensation is all the money that you earned through your employer. So, usually box 1 is where you find that. Total compensation in this example, wages, tips, and other compensations, $13,031 is your total compensation, box 1. That's it. So you try number 4. Figure out what your total compensation is going to be. Find out which box you need to state in this answer right here, and then move this box to check your work. So go ahead and do that. Pause the video, figure it out on your own. Otherwise, I'm just going to show you directly where it's at. You try number 4. Here it is. Not much to talk about. Simply, where is it on the W-2 form in box 1? So your total compensation should be $28,056. There it is. That's it for you trial number 4. All right, continuing on reading the W-2 form. Now we're going to look for the FICA tax, which is Social Security and Medicare combined. So in this example, example 5, what is their FICA tax? Well, FICA is Social Security, which in this case is box 4, and Medicare, which in this case is box 6, combined. So we're going to add these 2 boxes right here to get our total FICA tax. 781.86 plus 188.95. And our total FICA tax is $970.81. That's it for example 5, the FICA tax. You try number 5. Go ahead and pause this video. Try to figure out what your total FICA tax will be by adding the 2 appropriate boxes. And then if you want, check, again, if you're following along in ClassKick, check by moving this box to see if you did all your work correctly. So pause the video, try this on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all how to do this. All right, just as easy as the previous you try number 4. There it is. Let me circle that a little bit better. Add the Social Security tax with the Medicare tax. So we're going to be adding 1739.47 with 406.81. Let me just type those into the calculator. And we get 2146.28. 2146.28. That's our total FICA tax for this example. Yep, there it is. That's it for you try number 5. Federal income taxes. The estimated amount of federal income taxes is taken out of your paycheck. If too much is taken out, you will get a refund. If not enough is taken out, you will have to pay more money. So federal income taxes are based on many different factors, based on your marital status, based on how many children, how many dependents you have, whether you're making a certain amount in a certain bracket. All that will get factored in, and you'll have to pay that to the federal government. Now, usually your employer does that, will take into account your status and take out that amount and give it to the federal government, so you don't have to worry about it too much. However, you will be responsible for reporting it, at least through when you file your taxes using your W-2 form. So when you file everything, there are certain programs that will calculate everything, and depending on what has been taken out, what's been given or not given, you may owe a refund, or you may be owed a refund, or you may have to pay more to the government, depending on your situation. So let's look at some things regarding the federal income tax. The federal tax tables tells you how much federal taxes you have to pay based on your income and marital status. When you fill out your federal income tax return form, you will either get a refund or have to pay more money. Now, the remaining federal tax balance equals the paid federal tax minus the tax that is due. If the remaining balance is positive, you'll receive a refund. If the remaining balance is negative, you'll have to pay. You can do your taxes on paper or use tax software to file online. Most people use the tax software because the software does everything for them, but it's good to know how this process is done. So we will be doing our example as if we're writing it ourselves. Then you can see this table right here is just a snippet of what to expect when filing your taxes by hand. You have a range of income between $33,000 to $33,550 and so on and so forth, all the way up to $33,600, $33,650. These are the numbers that you're going to look for to see what you're in between. And then based on whether you're single, married, filing jointly, married, filing separately, or head of household, you will owe certain amounts to the government. These are all calculated for you so that you just have to look up and figure out where you belong in this tax table. So again, here are the steps for calculating the federal income tax by hand. Step 1, find the income on the table. Step 2, find the filing status. Step 3, find where those two items meet on the table. Step 4, write down the federal tax already paid, usually found in your W-2 form. Determine the remaining taxes by using this formula. Remaining federal tax balance equals the paid federal tax minus the tax due. If the remaining balance is positive, you are owed a refund. If the remaining balance is negative, you will owe the government money and will have to pay that in some form or fashion. Example number 6. Let me cover some of this up. Ben's taxable income is $33,267. He is single and has already paid $4,812 in federal taxes. We want to figure out whether he's owed a refund or whether he owes taxes to the government or owes more money to the government. So, first off, his income is $33,267. We're going to figure out where that is on the left side. Let me move my camera here. So his income is $33,267. So that is between $33,250 and then $33,300. So this line right here is where he would fall. Now we know that he is single. So we're going to look under the single column and see where that meets. And that is right here. He owes, according to the tax table, $4,556. So we just did the first 3 steps. We found out he's between those two numbers, single, and owes $4,556 to the government. Now we're going to write down the federal tax he's already paid, which is $4,812. Whoops. And then we're going to subtract the 2. So subtract 4,812 minus 4,556. 4,812 minus 4,556 is $256. So now this is a positive number. This is a positive result, meaning he's going to be owed a refund for paying more taxes than what he should have been. So he will receive a refund based on that number right there. That's it for example 6. You try number 6. Sam's taxable income is $33,557. He is filing as married, filing jointly, and has already paid $3,945 in federal taxes. What will he receive or pay after he figures his taxes for the year? So go through the steps. Step 1, find out where, find the income on the table, where he's going to be located. Find the filing status. Draw a line horizontally and vertically and use the number where they meet. That will be step 3. Find where the two items on the table meet. That will be what is due. Step 4, write down what he's already paid from the problem. And then step 5, determine the remaining taxes by subtracting them and then getting your answer. Is the remaining balance going to be positive or is it going to be negative? Answer right here. And will he receive a refund or will he have to pay? So again, go ahead and pause this video. Try this problem on your own. If you're on ClassKick, you can use this box right here to move and check to see if you did everything correctly. So again, pause the video, try this on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to continue on and show y'all how to do this. So first off, find the income on the table. His taxable income has to be between two numbers that encompass $33,557. So I'm going to look for $33,557. Looks like it might be here. And yes, so this, let me draw that a little bit better. This is the incomes that we're going to look at between $33,550 and then $33,600. Now we know that he is filing as married, filing jointly. So we're going to look at this column right here. And the intersection is what he owes. So he owes $41,666. So in this step 2, we forgot to answer. This is married. You're going to type it in, but I'm just going to circle it. Married, filing jointly. He owes $4,166. We're going to write down the federal tax that he's already paid, which is $3,945. And now we're going to subtract the two. 4166 minus 3945. Plug that into our calculator. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, other way around. We put what he paid already minus what is due. So 3,945 minus 4166. So 3,945 minus 4166, which is negative $221. So is the remaining balance positive or negative? It is negative, which means that I will have to pay some of that $221 I will have to pay to the government because I owe that money. The negative balance means I owe money in this scenario. Then we can move the box and check to see if we did this correctly, and yeah, that's it. All right, that's it for 1.03 notes. If y'all have any questions, let me know. Y'all know how to reach me, contact me, etc. Just send me a message. Let me know what y'all need help with. And yeah, that's it. I will see y'all in the next video. Take it easy, everybody.